Please make note of these three things. The person who's conducting the review should know clearly what is expected out of this role holder, and whatever is required, whatever knowledge, skill level that's required for achieving that particular piece, that clarity should be there with the person who's conducting the performance review. If while conducting the performance review, if two human beings are meeting and their agenda are at odds while conducting the performance dialogue or the growth dialogue, it will only lead to conflict. So step number one is that we need to have a complete alignment with the role holder on what is the expected outcome from this role holder. So I'll take an example of a sales role goal sheet. You and me can debate on various parameters, but fact of the matter is, I'll just share a sample sheet. Let's say, take for example, the name of this person is, let's say, Abhishek, whose performance review we are conducting. I have divided this sheet into three parts. The first part, let's say, is the number of opportunities. We have given a goal to this role holder that he has to or she has to open the opportunities. And just for the sake of clarity, the goal or the number that he or she is targeting is, let's say, 100. Because it is a simulation, because it is an exercise, I have taken sample numbers which we may want to modify. And let's say the actual performance of that review cycle, let's say if you are conducting a review monthly, or you are conducting a review weekly, or you are doing a performance review twice a year, or you are doing an yearly discussion, it is important that on each of these parameters, the goals are already filled. The goals are already agreed upon. For a typical sales guy, it could be opportunity closed, deals closed, revenue closed, calls made, visits made. It could be about finance. It could have certain parameters on reporting. It could have certain parameters on customer side, external customer side. It could have certain self-development goals. Whatever are the goals, that should get captured completely here. Are you guys with me? Are you able to see the screen and you are able to understand what I'm saying? I'll just zoom in a little bit. Give me a reaction, yes, no. Are you able to see it? Are you able to see it now? I've zoomed in a little bit. All the parameters, all the KPIs that you're intending to take it as a goal. I've just taken a few sample ones. It could have a long list. It could have a shorter list. Majority of the time, when we are talking about sales guys, depending on the kind of go-to-market strategy that the client has, the parameters may differ. If it is a distribution company or a channel company, it might have parameters about expansion. It might have distribution width. It could be about coverage. It could be about, maybe if the goals of sales and marketing is merged, it could be about certain BTL activities or point of sale activities that the guy is doing. And parameters may differ. Now, today's session is not about finalizing that goal. It's about understanding the process and how do you go about it. So rule number one for anyone who is interested in doing the performance review is to identify what the goals are. And once the goals are fixed, we pick up in this particular column, we fill it up in this column. It is important that the company has a fair and transparent system of capturing, so that there is no debate in between the person who's getting reviewed and the person who's getting reviewed, who's reviewing and getting reviewed. There should not be any confusion around the numbers itself. Many a times, I'm sure all of you must have experienced that the figures are in certain organizations, and especially those who are very manual dependent or not using technology, might have certain debate around the data itself. So clean that up before getting into a conversation so that there is no doubt about the figures on either end. Right now in this example, I have just divided 100 by 5, but that might not be the case. Depending on what is the agenda that your company is driving, you may want to decide weightage there. Let's say if the weightage for deals closed needs to be more, we can increase or decrease that. And in this section, we calculate the actual performance. Now, this is about only numbers. And then we can roll out the sheet for Q1 separately. We can have a sheet for Q2 separately. We can have a sheet for Q3 separately. And we can have a sheet for Q4 separately. It's very important that we divide the year into fundamental parts. And in this exercise, in this template, we have one single sheet which can capture the entire yearly performance. So if you have 10 team members or 5 team members who are reporting into you, you will need to maintain as a manager, as a line manager, or as HR person who is supporting that entire or facilitating that entire process to make sure that we have one sheet which is capturing the entire performance, at least the quantitative performance. Do you also believe that the performance of a human being will have some quantitative parts for a salesperson, easiest to measure in an organization, and it will have certain skills part also, the softer parts also. So I'll just share another sheet to give you an example of, let's say, if you want to do a soft skills assessment for your team members. Now, let's say, imagine that the parameters that you're looking at is motivation level and drive. You are looking at time management skills. You're looking at attention to detail and process, which is active listening on calls, taking notes, great summary emails, firm future commitment, whether the person is including agenda in his conversation or her conversation or not, the communication skills of that person, whether we are able to write excellent email summaries, keeps good notes in CRM, uses prospects word back to them. And it could be also a combination of verbal communication skills, which is about focusing on positive, listens more than they talk on calls, restates, reframes, validates, stands on calls for improved tone, confident and assertiveness. Also, it is about pipeline development, spends extra time prospecting, develops partnerships, generates client referrals, copies the best representatives, develops a social media expertise. It could be funnel development or pipeline development, depending on the language that you're using. How about the forecasting accuracy of that salesperson? Focuses on identifying and co-creating compelling events, logs progress of every detail, every deal, every conversation in CRM properly or not, and asks about prospects' calendar of events, resists urge to predict future. It could be also about, if you're not using a CRM or if you're using a CRM, consistent application of the sales process, knows whether the sales call is at a suspect stage, prospect stage, approach stage, negotiation stage, close stage, order stage, depending on the kind of definition that you have given for your sales stages of the organization, whether the person knows about the sales process and the CRM also. Also, if your organization is using a CRM, the salesperson is adhering to it or not, adhering to the milestones, timelines, outcomes required to move stage, adds extra note or exact notes on each deal, so that even if a person leaves, the entire information is available. Then another parameter could be the understanding of the target market, whether the salesperson knows about the target persona inside out, knows top challenges and initiatives, speaks with authority about industry and people, processes and systems, not product. How about the discovery skills of the salesperson? Conducts a solid current state versus future state analysis, the gap analysis, need analysis, and get prospect to discovery where the holes are there in the plan. So is the salesperson consultative in nature? Is he prescribing without diagnosis or not? Is he able to understand and add value in the conversations? Then how about the salesperson's ability to overcome objections? Does he use a library of gets, and trades access to power for demo pricing pitches when it is time? How about his ability to pitch, create elevator pitches, create stadium pitches around this? And how about planning and follow? Researches client before any call, send pre-call appointment form, and always send post-email summary in client's own words. So is the salesperson capturing the minutes of meeting exactly the way it got discussed in the client meeting and follows template and records in CRM? So if there are prescribed templates in the organization, is the salesperson following it or not? And last but not the least, some of the samples, some of the soft skills part is competitive intelligence. Can name the top 5 competitors in their segment and can list strengths and weaknesses for each. Now, it might not be possible that for a role holder, you will have all the rating factors. You might want to choose 5, 6, 7, at best 5. What are the critical parameters for the organization? If you look at the way I have created the sheet, it is divided into 2 parts. The representative's assessment, which is the self-assessment of the performance review, and the second part is the manager's assessment of the performance review. Now, this ideally should be a growth dialogue in between the sales representative and the manager. The rating scales can be defined. I have just given a sample of the rating scales. As an organization, we may want to use another scale because the objective of our meeting today is to help you understand the performance review process, design it so that you can use it effectively. What I've done is I've given 1 when the sales representative is not meeting expectation, 2 when the person needs improvement, 3 meets expectation, and 4 exceeds expectation. The person can punch in here 3, 2, or maybe 1 in this particular case, or in this case, if we agree, the manager can also punch in. I've just shown you samples for quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4 you can do. And at the end, you will be able to calculate out of 4, what is the score, whether it is matching or not. So right now, if you look at it, I have divided the performance review into very easily 2 parts. One part is the quantitative assessment, and second part is the qualitative assessment of the soft skills of the client meeting. And last but not the least, any growth dialogue which is happening in between the manager and is happening with the representative, it is important that after the dialogue is over, we sit together and capture the next steps. Whatever are the developmental action steps that we have agreed with the client, with the sales representative. So look at the 3rd sheet and let's look at action items. Look at this format, the way it has been created. Whatever action item that we agree as a part of development with the sales representative, look at the rationale. Why does this employee need to focus on this area in the upcoming quarter? Please try and understand as a manager the need behind the need. What is the management action which is required to do that? What will you do as the representative manager to support the representative in getting better in this area? What is the representative's action that has been agreed upon? What specifically should the rep do in the coming quarter to achieve the desired outcome? And last but not the least, what would be the measurement of success? If you look at the action planning template, same has been repeated as action point number 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're looking at top 3 parameters, then it is important that we understand these 4 parameters in detail. Why does this representative want that? What needs to be done? What needs to be done by the representative to ensure that the developmental action plan is actioned? And this is not theory, because knowledge without action is philosophy. And last but not the least, the measurement of success. How are we going to measure the progress, whether the person has taken steps in that direction or not? So with these 3 steps, I have basically introduced each one of you. What are the steps that one can take while conducting a performance review? Now, in the last maybe 15 odd minutes, if there is anyone who has any question, you have a button where you can raise your hands. or you can drop a message, say I in the chat box, and I can answer specific questions if you have around performance. Any questions that you have faced, I would listen to you and share my advice around. So any one of you who wants to ask any question, you can ask now. Whosoever wants to ask, please unmute yourself. The team has shifted you as a panelist. You can get into a discussion now. I see Ram Manohar Prajapati raising hands. So Ram Manohar ji, if you want to ask any question, please turn your mic on and you can ask questions. Shivani, if you want to check, I think the mic is.
Hello.
Yes, Ram Manohar ji.
हाँ सर, नमस्कार सर।
क्या पूछना चाहते हैं राम मनोहर सर?
मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि सर इसमें क्या काम करना पड़ेगा मेरे को?
किस चीज में क्या काम करना पड़ेगा राम मनोहर सर?
तो सर हम ये मीटिंग अटेंड कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें क्या ऐसी जानकारी मिलेगी, क्या कर सकते हैं इसको, कैसा क्या करना है इसमें, अभी जरा थोड़ा समझाएंगे? आपने
राम मनोहर सर कहाँ से ज्वाइन किया है?
जी सर, मैं यूपी से बांदा जिला से लगता हूँ।
ठीक है, और आप अभी क्या करते हैं?
ये सर मैं अभी कुछ काम नहीं करता, ऐसा ही खाली रहता है, थोड़ा बहुत मजदूरी का काम कर लेता है।
ठीक है, तो ये जो सेशन था ना राम मनोहर सर, वो उसका उद्देश्य ये था उन लोगों के लिए जो काम कर रहे हैं, जो अपनी टीम को मैनेज कर रहे हैं और ये सीखना चाहते हैं कि उनको सिखाने के लिए और सिखाने के बाद उनके काम को चेक कर सकें कि कैसे बेहतर कर सकते हैं या उसको सिखा सकें। तो अगर आपका वो रोल है राम मनोहर जी, तो जो आपने बताया कि वो नहीं है, तो ये वाला सेशन आपके हित में नहीं होगा या आपके फायदे के लिए नहीं होगा। अगर कोई ऐसा टॉपिक हम करें जब हम भेजते हैं आपके पास इनवाइट, और अगर आपको लगता है उससे आपका फायदा हो सकता है तो प्लीज ज्वाइन करिए। Anyone else would like to take a question? Shivani, if you can check if there is anyone else. If there are no more questions, I will just quickly share that a quick news. Vikas Kumar has raised his hands. If you can check Shivani and allow Vikas to talk to me.
गुड इवनिंग सर, कैसे हैं आप?
एकदम बढ़िया विकास सर, कैसे हैं आप?
एकदम फर्स्ट क्लास, मजे में सर। सब जो आपने पैरामीटर्स अभी बताए हैं सेल्स के रिव्यू करने के, ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इट सो हैपेंस, और जो पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है एज अ मैनेजर, एज अ सेल्स पर्सन, सीआरएम और जो इतने पैरामीटर्स जिसके हमने डिस्कशन किया है, दे आर क्वाइट वैलिड। हर पैरामीटर का अपना एक महत्व है, जैसे आप कहते हैं, बट इन सब पैरामीटर्स को ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम या डेली बेसिस पे या वीकली बेसिस पर किसी एक एग्जीक्यूटिव को मैनेज करना बहुत कुंभसम हो जाता है सर। उनसे ये रिपोर्ट्स लेना बिकम्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट। इफ यू कैन जस्ट गाइड अस कि क्या इसको हम सिंप्लीफाई कर सकते हैं, या कुछ ऐसा पैरामीटर हो जो इट विल बी कन्वीनिएंट फॉर बोथ मैनेजमेंट एज वेल एज फॉर द रिपोर्टिंग पर्सन।
जो उद्देश्य था ना विकास उसको दिखाने का
जी,
और इतना डिटेल में और इतने सारे दिखाने का,
जी,
it is because people's objective of coming here is to learn how to do the performance.
True.
So the question is, will we select out of these and take 3 or 5?
Okay.
The answer is yes.
All right.
If you are into, let's say, if you are a role holder who is handling modern trade, then the parameters will differ.
That's true. That's true.
If you are a channel management sales guy, the parameters will differ.
Certainly.
If let's say you are in B2B corporate sales, the performance parameter will differ.
Obviously.
So one needs to selectively choose what is working for them and what is expected out of this role holder. Yes or no?
Sure. Sure, sure, sure.
And then we need to define what are the key results. Here, the
Yes.
objective is to see that in a frame, we use a template where all the KPIs are measured.
Right.
There is a scale on which the measurement is happening,
Mm-hmm.
and ensure that at least minimum, this is my recommendation, this is not a hard and fast rule, that the manager and the representative should sit with each other at least once a month for a growth dialogue.
Perfect. That's fair enough, sir. But at times, what I have seen and felt in couple of organizations, वो लोग क्या करते हैं कि they emphasize so much on updating CRMs, checking, daily reporting, सुबह meeting, शाम को meeting. That a sales guy probably thinks that he has become a clerk rather than a salesperson.
Yes, in case if people lose sight of doing activity on why they have started this activity, that happens.
Yeah.
If the objective of the performance dialogue or the growth dialogue is, let me ask you a question. If you are doing a review of your team member, what might be the objective that you would like to achieve at the end of this discussion?
The objective will be to see where first of all, to see whether the goals are being met, first of all. Number two, to see if there is any shortfall, and then how to overcome them and how to quickly course correct them. And then to see if somebody is falling short or has some lagging, to give him a review so that, or he give them a training so that they can perform better.
Correct.
These three are the points.
And does these 3 sheets cover all 3 aspects?
Perfectly fine, sir. They do. They certainly do.
However, if let's say, imagine the manager loses sight of these 3 objectives,
right,
and gets into the nitty-gritty of focusing on the process, but losing the sight on the objective why we started, what would that lead to?
Dissatisfaction and the resentments.
And that's true for anything.
True.
So
true.
Most of the managers, if I look at to build the skills around it, it has to do with how the dialogue is happening, whether we have been able to create a comfortable environment for growth, because if we are not creating a safe environment for this conversation to happen, then this entire exercise, I agree with you, is futile.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Are you on the same page?
Oh, absolutely, sir. Absolutely. There is no way that I can disagree with you. I just wanted some clarification.
Absolutely. And the point that you have made is extremely valid, that yes, I have heard the feedback. I have been a party to reviews, Vikasji, where the manager is debating losing sight on the human being who is sitting in front of him or her.
Yeah.
And looking at whether the Excel sheet was prepared in 16 font size or not.
True. That's what is the
and
basic.
If you become cynical about the process and lose the objective of why we started this growth dialogue in the first place, that's why it's called a performance review or a growth dialogue rather than harassment.
So kind of correct. Very true.
That's very good of you to ask that question. Anyone else who would like to ask any question which I can answer? So we covered, I'll just summarize. In the last half an hour, we covered 3 pieces. There was a beautiful question. There were 2 people who asked that question. One is a person who had not even started his job. So I communicated to him that this topic that we are covering might not be relevant for the person, because he was a laborer who had joined this webinar from Banda. Second, very important question which Vikas asked, which is about that if the process becomes so cumbersome, then maintaining it and getting the entire objective fulfilled, we lose sight around it. I'll just summarize and share the screen once again. We discussed in the last half an hour 3 things. 1, while conducting the sales performance review, we should have sight of the goal. We need to look at the actual numbers. We need to look at selective parameters on what are the things that you are driving home and developmental areas. I have clarified that may not be needed, all points may not be needed, with the help of which you will get to know the rating. And third piece was, after the dialogue is over, the importance of capturing action items on what will be done post the dialogue. Those of you who are interested in having a conversation and any questions and have not been able to ask questions today, my request would be that you can reach out to our consultant and book a call with us, and if we can answer that question, or you can join Thursday at 3 p.m. again, where I will be covering next week another topic. That's it from my side. I would request Shivani, if you can share the details. When are we launching the next batch? If you are interested in becoming a sales magnet and you want to start a lifelong journey of learning sales, then important thing that you can learn. Shivani, if you can make me the host, please. Abhijit or Shivani, can you make me the host, please?
Yes, sir, making.
Please do it fast. So, in case if you are interested in knowing more about it, then we are starting, and I want the backend team to quickly, Diksha is not there today, to share the details of the next batch. So far, we have rolled out 34 batches of Sales Mastery Program, where we have covered hundreds of entrepreneurs across the country. In case if any one of you are interested in knowing and enhancing your sales skills, check out the details, book a call with our sales consultant, and I would be more than happy. Who is going to share, Abhijit, Shivani or you, the details of the next batch, please?
I am sharing in a half minute, sir.
Yeah, let's be ready with that, and please share because the participants are waiting. In case if you are interested, book a call. The details have been shared. Also would request, whenever, if you have got an Android phone, all of you, then I want you to please download the app. Go to this website.
Chat box pe.
And download the app. Abhijit, you can put yourself on mute. We can hear you. And go through this journey. The organization School of Inspirational Leadership has prepared a panel of consultants who can help you in various areas of business. Look at this website, look at the products that we have, look at how we are building the transformation journey of business entrepreneurs, look at the feedback that we have received, and look at the various programs. If you want to know more about any of these programs, you can click on the link and book. You will have some free power sessions for each of these pieces. Look at what is the introduction to Sales Magnet, what are the 6 stages of the Sales Magnet, the language of needs, how to understand the real needs of the customer, how do we meet the need, what's the negotiation all about, the types of concerns which are there. Go through these free sessions, and if you're interested in going through the full journey, and if you feel if you are able to, I see, kindly share screen of written part on how to take review of sales performance review. Atul sir, you are part of the sales community. Atul Golab sir, you can come in the Sunday session and I'll share the template. Does that work, Atul sir? Yeah. So in case if any one of you are interested in knowing more about it, book a call, go here, register yourself, download the app on Android, and I assure you on behalf of School of Inspirational Leadership and all my senior consulting partners that we will keep on serving. Wish you guys all the best. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Bye.
if we have the right coach, the right direction and the right team.
जब बिजनेस मैंने स्टार्ट किया सभी लोग पूछते क्या काम करोगे, तुम्हारा कोई बिजनेस का एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, एक्सपोजर नहीं है, फैमिली भी बिजनेस से रिलेटेड बिल्कुल भी नहीं थे, एंड देयर वाज नोबडी टू गाइड मी. देन थिंकिंग वाज ओनली कि चलना शुरू करेंगे तो रास्ते मिलेंगे. देन आई थॉट ऑफ स्टार्टिंग मूविंग एंड वो गोट दी रास्ते भी मिल गए हमें चलने के बाद. अच्छा, बिजनेस स्टार्ट वाज नॉट वेरी इजी थिंग, क्योंकि जब मार्केट में कंटेक्ट नहीं है, रेपुटेशन नहीं है, तो nobody will entertain a new entrepreneur like us for very important machines to be taken care by a new person. फिर भी हम लगे रहे. Thinking was this कि I wanted to be successful at any cost. तो मुझे उस टाइम I was not worried what I am going to earn, what I am going to lose. एक पागलपन था कि सक्सेस तो होना ही होना है. At any cost I have to be successful. And with that thinking, overall circumstances helped us like this, and we got few opportunities also, which were very good opportunities, and they gave us very good standing in the market.
I joined my business because I thought that it is the only area where I could get endless opportunities. I wanted to get into a product, and for which I got an opportunity through L&T ECC division, and with some research and help I was able to develop that product. In a very short period, other RMC companies such as ACC and Ultratech became my client. Our foundry became of a world-class product manufacturing company, and we are exporting material to different countries as well as OEMs in India. From 2013, we gained some momentum, but we were not able to reach our desired pace. During this period, we came to know about Mission 5X through IMSME with our learning partner as SIL. So I decided to join this program because I thought that this would lead me to where I really want to reach in my life. After the first session of Burning Desire, it became a continuous learning process. The strategy part was very important. It made us realize that whatever we want to achieve, we need to formulate a strategy. So I feel that with the right plan, we will be able to achieve our goal. For this, I would like to thank IMSME and SIL to give me the proper guidance to make my vision and achieve the goal where I want to reach. I still feel that 100 crores is something which I want to achieve only in the next 4 years, but that is not the limit. The growth has to keep on going and going.
You are unique. You are passionate. SIL salutes the rigor and dream within you. We promise to be a strong catalyst in your life.
Knowledge is power, but mere having knowledge is not sufficient. One should be able to know how to apply that knowledge. We as an organization believe in knowledge and constant growth.
मैं आरसी चौधरी 78 में कॉलेज छोड़ने के बाद फरीदाबाद आया और यहाँ एक कंपनी में एज ए सुपरवाइज़र का काम शुरू किया. 3 साल के बाद मैं उस कंपनी का वर्क्स मैनेजर बना. 82 में हमने छोटा सा काम ट्रेडिंग का शुरू किया, जिसमें डिवाइसेस का और विनाइल फ्लोरिंग वगैरह का काम था. 92 में हमने मल्टी डेकोर की स्थापना करी और उसके बाद में पहला ऑर्डर हमें फोर्ड इंडिया लिमिटेड से 7 लाख का ऑर्डर मिला. फिर दूसरा ऑर्डर एस्कॉर्ट्स ग्रुप से मिला, फिर BXL इंडिया लिमिटेड, इंडियन ऑयल, और धीरे धीरे बहुत सारी कंपनियां इस तरह से हमारे साथ जुड़ती गई और हम जोड़ते चले गए प्री फैब में. 2009 में प्रदीप IIM इंदौर से पढ़ाई करने के बाद में वो हमारे कंपनी के साथ में जुड़ गया.
I completed my executive MBA in 2010 and decided not to work for anybody else, and I joined Multi Decor. In 2012, company was transformed from multi-decor proprietorship to private limited. Until 2015, company was growing at a steady pace but on a constant number, not a multi-fold jumps. It was a stagnant phase. We were not on a big numbers. In 2015, I was away from the organization due to some illness. Once I joined back, I realized company should run as a well-oiled machinery. It should be on autopilot. It should not be dependent on a person. So I started designing systems and processes. From 2016 till 2018, growth was better due to some processes, but again, the knowledge is always limited. I felt the need of learning. In 2018, there was ad by IMSM of India for Mission 5X, which resonated with my plan for growth and automation. IMSME introduced us to School of Inspirational Leadership, where we underwent numerous programs. Journey started with burning desire, where the context was set right by orienting us as a business leader. The very important lesson which was taken aback was owner and business is totally separate entity. They were two different things. The second session of strategy taught us how that growth path can be achieved. A business plan was made. There were numerous sessions and numerous learnings. All were taken back and taught to our core team in the organizations. This financial year, we have taken a jump of 90%. And for the next financial year, we have set up a target of 120%. SIL is a true partner in your growth. They not only impart you the knowledge, but also handhold you through the all complete process. I can personally guarantee entrepreneurs who wish to take up this journey that your journey will not only be rewarding, but a life-changing one.
You are unique. You are passionate. SIL salutes the rigor and dream within you. We promise to be a strong catalyst in your life.
सन 1994 से 2001 तक इलेक्ट्रिकल फील्ड की प्रतिष्ठित कंपनी में कार्य करने के दौरान हमने ये रियलाइज़ किया कि हमारे इलेक्ट्रिकल गुड्स के अंदर या तो बहुत ही महंगे प्रोडक्ट बाज़ार में उपलब्ध हैं या निम्न क्वालिटी के बहुत ही सस्ते प्रोडक्ट उपलब्ध हैं जो कि कस्टमर की ज़िंदगी के साथ खिलवाड़ है। ये एहसास होने के बाद सन 2002 में एक उद्देश्य के साथ, एक खास उद्देश्य के साथ कि हम एक अच्छा प्रोडक्ट अफोर्डेबल प्राइस पे आम कस्टमर तक उपलब्ध करा सकें, इस उद्देश्य के साथ सन 2002 में बिल्टेक की स्थापना की गई थी। 2002 से लेकर 2018 तक बिल्टेक ने सफलता के नित नए आयाम छुए हैं। एक छोटी सी किराए की जगह में शुरुआत करने के बाद आज ये कंपनी कई मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट ओन करती है और हिंदुस्तान के अंदर 15 से अधिक राज्यों में हमारे प्रोडक्ट्स उपलब्ध हैं और 10 से अधिक कंट्रियों में हम एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं अपने प्रोडक्ट्स को। इन 16 साल की जर्नी में ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने काफ़ी ग्रो किया, सफलता के नित नए आयाम छुए, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं अंदर ही अंदर हमको ये महसूस हो रहा था कि कंपनी को एक स्टेप फर्दर ले जाने के लिए हमको पर्सनल नॉलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को और गेन करनी पड़ेगी। उसके लिए हमको एक राइट प्लेटफॉर्म की ज़रूरत थी। फॉर्चुनेटली IMSME ऑफ इंडिया के थ्रू हम SIL पुणे से कनेक्ट हुए और हमको एक ये सुनहरा अवसर मिला और उसके बाद हमारी EDP की जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई, जो कि आने वाले समय में एक मुझे उम्मीद है कि एक माइलस्टोन साबित होगी। जो नॉलेज हमने वहाँ पे गेन की क्वालिफाइड इंस्ट्रक्टर्स से, हमारे कोचेज से, वो अनपैरेलल है। हमारे सोचने का पूरा तरीका बदल गया है उस पहली बर्निंग डिजायर के सेशन के बाद से ही। जिस तरीके से हम अपनी मैन पावर को ट्रीट करते थे, जिस तरह से हम विदाउट प्लान एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट्स लगा के भी डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट नहीं ले पा रहे थे, जिस तरीके से हम बिना प्रॉपर स्ट्रेटेजी के ग्रोथ लेने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, उन सब तरीकों में पूरा बदलाव आया। और अब हम ये मानते हैं क्योंकि अब हमने नॉलेज प्रॉपर एक्वायर कर ली है और न केवल नॉलेज एक्वायर करने से हम सक्सेसफुल होंगे, बल्कि हम एक्वायर्ड नॉलेज के सक्सेसफुल इम्प्लीमेंटेशन से सक्सेसफुल होंगे। तो इस दिशा में हम लगातार कार्य कर रहे हैं और हमें उम्मीद है इस नॉलेज के थ्रू हम 4 साल में बिल्टेक को 200 करोड़ प्लस ले जाने में कामयाब होंगे। SIL के साथ जो ये जर्नी हमारी 1 साल की रही, स्कूल ऑफ स्पेशल लीडरशिप पुणे, जो डॉक्टर पवार और डिफरेंट लर्नड कोचेज के थ्रू हमको नॉलेज गेन हुई, जिसके थ्रू हम अपने सारे रिसोर्सेज बेटर मैनेज कर सकते हैं, ह्यूमन पावर को एज ए ह्यूमन रिसोर्स, एज ए ग्रेट टीम डेवलप कर सकते हैं और